Hello everyone, welcome to the VTU CDOE online degree programs. Today we will discuss about Python lab programs. This lab in this Python lab we will discuss as per the syllabus. We will discuss the different programs which they have given. I will discuss one by one. So, and before that we just it's assumed that you have all the idea about to create a simple Python statements, or assigning the values to a variable, or maybe to create a function to use the conditions, or to use the looping statements, and also the class, how to create a class, all those things. And anyway, in this programming session also we will just try to understand, we will discuss the syntax as well as the as per the problem statement, whatever the problem statement they have given, as per that we will try to understand the syntax as well as the logic behind the particular concept, what exactly they have given in the problem statement. Let us start the program 1. In this program 1, as per the syllabus, they have asked to write a program to sum all the elements from n1 to n2, where n1 and n2 are the positive integers. First, let us try to understand the program. So, it is very clear. We need, it is a sum of two numbers, that is all, as simple as that, sum of two numbers. But here just a slight change. What are those two numbers? You cannot say sum of first, you have to specify as an input, you have to give from where to where I need to find the sum between those two elements. If that is what, sum of all the elements between, like from n1 to n2. If I say 1, n1 is 1, n2 is 10, now I have to find sum between all the numbers 1 to 10, from 1 to 10, n2 is 10. And another condition is where n1 and n2 are positive integers. That means, so your input should be whatever the two numbers you are going to provide as an input, right? Those two numbers should be positive integers. If you are clear about the problem statement, then it is easy to write a program also. So, let us start the program. So, for this implementation here, I start with the declaration of the method, or to implementation of the method. I am just defining the method. This is very clear. Def is the keyword. It is used to create a function. Def sum underscore range, it is a name of the method. So, whatever the name we are giving the giving for the function, it is a name of the function. So, def is a keyword to create a function, and within the parenthesis, what are the two elements? It expects some parameters. Those parameters you should send from the calling function, or nothing but whenever we call the function, from there we are sending the input. Those two values, or the parameters, here we are initializing n1 comma n2. From where it will get, I think the function call will discuss, and end of that function statement. So, we have a colon that indicates it is the beginning of the scope of the function will begin. So, and after that in the next line we have to use the proper indentation. That is very important. If you do not give the indentation here, then it will throw an error, indentation error. Since we do not have any specific notation to define this is the beginning of the block and this is the end of the block, just here only the through indentation only we will try to understand. See here, if n1 is greater than 0 and n2 is greater than 0. Why this statement? Here we are checking the conditions of both the numbers n1 and n2. See how I am checking n1, that is your input, first parameter here in the function implementation, that is should be greater than 0, and it is a logical operators I am using, and the purpose of and the behavior of and, both the conditions should true. So, now if I want to execute the statements written inside the function means, so the condition, first condition is what, n1 should be greater than 0 and also n2 should greater than 0. Assume if first one itself is false, then no need to go further, automatically this condition will completely come out, because the AND operation is like that, both should be true, both has to be like true, then only it returns true. So, n1 is greater than 0 and n2 is greater than 0, it is a colon. What is that n1 and n2? Because since the problem statement is saying n1 and n2 should be or must be positive integers, that is the reason positive means we are checking if it is greater than 0, I think that is ensuring that whether n1 is less than or equal to n2. And again, so once we are checking both are integers like positive numbers greater than 0, then again now I am checking two more conditions, one more condition. What is that condition? Always n1 should be greater than n2. So that is what, or equal to, that is also fine. N1 is less than or equal to n2. So if n1 value is 1 to 10 as per the statement, earlier statement, n1 between the numbers 1 to 10. So here 1 is what? n1, that is always less than n2. n2 is 10. Now from 1 to 10 I need to find sum of all the elements. That is the reason I am just checking. If n1 is 10 and n2 is 1, then it is a problem. If you do not check that condition, now if they ask, if you say input is n1 is equal to 10, n2 is 1, now we do not, either you need to reverse back or that again you need to change your logic. Instead of that, you just make sure that or ensure that your first number always n1 should be less than the or equal to the n2. I think that is very easy. If not, in case even if you provide n1 is greater than n2, then you swap it, that is all. I am just checking if n1 is greater than n2, in that case I am just swapping. So directly here another advantage of this is how we can directly swap. See, n1 comma n2, it is a multi-value assignment. See now what is there in n2? Assume n2 is contains 1. So now first it is like positional mapping. So first here in the left hand side of the equal symbol is first is n1 and second is n2. Right side of the equal is n2 is first and n1. Now first to first, second to second, third to third, like that, it is always positional assignment. So now n2 value is what? n2 value is 1, that will be assigned to the n1. Always right side of the equal sign, that will be assigned to the left side of the variable. So n2 contains 1, that will be assigned to the n1. What is n1 contains? It is a 10. Now n1 is assigned to the 10 is assigned to the n2. Now n1 is 1, n2 is 10. So I think now it is very clear. So now you can find the sum. The function we are using sum, it is an inbuilt function. We are just using the method, another inbuilt function, that is range. Range, what happens? It will generate the numbers between that whatever the value you provide. Here I am providing n1. What is the n1? n1, as already I mentioned, 1, and there is a second parameter is n2 plus 1. n2 is what? 10. Plus 1, why we need to use plus 1? Because range will generate the numbers from n1 to the last, but it will not include the last value till that number. That means if I say n1 is 1, n2 is 10 means 1, 2, 3 up to 9 it will generate, but last element it will not include. But since the problem or the question saying n1 to n2, we need to include n2 also, that is the reason we will take the next number of the n2. So n2, if you say plus 1 is 11, so 11 means till 10 it will generate 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10, it will return the sum of 1 to 10, and the result will be stored in the total sum. So that is the reason I am using the return keyword, and the total sum, whatever the value it will be there, it will be returned to the wherever you are calling the function. So else, if n1 is not greater than 0 or n2 is not greater than 0, then immediately in the else block we will return both n1 and n2 should be positive integers. That is also we are handling in the within the function itself. So this is the implementation of the function. Now in the main we will call the function. So before calling we need two numbers, right? So take the input. I think input, the purpose of input function, basically that input function will help you to get the input from the user, or during the execution you can just receive the input from the user. So input, enter the number 1. So if I say 10, so at the time of through the user keyboard or input devices you need to enter the input. If I say 10, 10 will be assigned to n1. Int of 10. Why int? Because it is a type conversion. See, whatever you enter, whenever we use this input of enter something, through the input function, if you receive any input from the input devices, everything, even though it is an integer or a decimal, anything, that will be treated as a string only. That is the reason we using int of input. So, first it will be evaluate input, this function will get evaluate. So, you will get the message enter the number 1, I say 1. So, now output output of this is int of within that double quotes 1, because whatever you get that will be the string format only. Now, that will be converted to the integer and assign it to the n1. Now, n1 contains 1, that is purely integer number. Similarly, n2 same statement, just we copy paste int of input enter the number 2. If I say 10, now 10 will be converted to integer and then will be assigned to the n2. Now, I am calling the function sum range of, what is the sum range? Already we have defined the function. So, I am calling sum range of n1, n1 is what? 1, n2 is what? 10. So, immediately that will calculate and it will return a result. Already we are using return total sum, that value because this is a function call, result will be stored here and I am printing. N1 is 1 to 10 is this one. See, enter the number 1, here I have given 2 and enter the number 5, sum of all the elements 2 to 5, 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 4 9, 9 plus 5 is equal to 14. This is the sum of between two elements. I think this is the first program. I think even I have given the explanation here, what is input n1 and n2 which are positive integers, and how exact the process also I have explained here in the manual. The program first checks if both n1 and n2 are positive integer. If n1 is greater than n2, then it will swaps them to ensure that range is calculated correctly. If then calculates the sum of all the integers between 1 to or n1 to n2, and finally the output should be the sum of all the integers from n1 and n2. So, this is your first lab program in as per your syllabus.